If you
out of
release
the
them at the
tournament,
5K, you're wrong.
no, you get kicked out of the tournament if you don't play with that card. Whoa, welcome to MetaZoo with you, America's most favorite MTG podcast. I'm, of course, joined by the man. I have no interest this week. I'm, of course, joined by the man who apparently just came out of the working shelter. Josh, never seen you in a t-shirt before, ever.
The working shelter. So everyone who wears a t-shirt is in a shelter?
Working shelter. Like he goes to work in a shelter. It's cold outside. I've never seen you in a t-shirt, I don't think.
I got nothing for this, man. This is
I am also joined by the man who loves the Kickstarters, Louis DeGeorge.
What is
the
up,
Kickstarter
everyone?
master?
And we're joined by George and his Mickey Mouse ears yet again from his Harvard Law School office.
Nope. None of that.
Where he is definitely not a professor.
That is. There's like, well, that part was truth.
Shout out to anybody in the comment section who's in George's class and leaves a comment in the comment section. We would all love to hear that.
We will pin your comment exclusively.
Yes, there it is. It's pinned. Now we can't pin anything because that's pinned. All right, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to be chatting about Phyrexian Invasion in Magic the Gathering. We had Phyrexian cards in Dominaria Remastered packs this weekend. We also are going to talk about the Dominaria Remastered release weekend and how the market held up and how our stores did and how Josh did in his release event if he played in one. We're going to talk about the D&D walkback from Hasbro, and Cryptic had an awesome charity stream that we're going to talk about and the community building going on there. And then Sorcery's got a bunch of things going on with a bunch of different products and a bunch of things to talk about. And then we're going to talk about Fusion Auras, which are dual lands for MetaZoo's newest set coming out. So lots of things to chat about. Josh, did you play this weekend?
I did not play this weekend. I played the preview event.
You didn't get any Phyrexian cards in your draft boxes?
I unfortunately did not get any Phyrexian cards in my draft boxes. How cool would that have been, though? To be like a content creator that opened one. Oh,
everyone was opening packs in our sealed event, and we're like, I didn't get any. It was like fun. That was like everyone's like Force of Will, no, but everyone was looking for the Phyrexian rares for whatever reason.
Just for them to hate the Phyrexian rares in like 3 months when they're out. Like, I wish I opened something else than this.
It's not 3 months, more like 3 weeks for the record.
No, but I think the hate's going to take some time to set in. The release isn't 3 months.
Depends on what channel you watch, Josh.
On the road.
Depends on what channel you watch. That's like the difference maker, I would say.
Okay.
So question, you're the closest thing we have to a judge on this channel. If you got those,
are you gonna gotcha me with some ridiculous L1 judge question right now?
But the comment section can, because I'm gonna go with whatever you say. If I'm playing Dominaria Remastered sealed at my event last weekend, and I open up Phyrexia All Will Be One cards, do I get to play with them in my sealed deck?
100%.
Yeah.
That's not a judge call.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. We talked about how great these events are for like the casual, like fun.
Absolutely.
All in. Yes.
In fact, I think you're required to play with them. You can't even take them out of your deck ever.
Yeah. No, they have to be at all.
They have to be in there.
All right. Let's up the odds then. Let's up the odds then, because I want to know where that level stops.
Up the ante?
These are in these packs now. Let's say that we're doing a 5K draft experience for Dominaria Remastered.
Sure.
You open up your packs for actually All Will Be One cards are in them. Do you replace those cards with a different pack, or do you just let it roll?
No.
You trash the whole pack. You reopen, especially if it's a 5K event, theoretically there'll be more product. Listen, you're asking for about a 5K. We're in serious spike
Absolutely
territory.
Not. Still required to play with that card.
Listen, that's the way to do it, especially at the release event. Louis' scenario changed to a 5K.
You get kicked
if you
out
release
of the tournament.
If it's a 5K, you're wrong.
No, you get kicked out of the tournament if you don't play with that card. And you owe them 5K. You have to pay the prize support now.
You made me the enemy of fun because that's the correct answer. But the way better answer is no, you jam them all the time.
Anybody who opposes me is the enemy of fun. You should know that by now.
That's a wild thought to know that that could happen in Dominaria Remastered draft experiences. I don't know if anyone's doing 5K drafts, but it could happen. Anyway, so it seems to be pretty rare, but they did put out a statement that was really interesting. Josh, I'm gonna let you take. This was your take, so I'm gonna let you.
No, I don't have the statement pulled up. So
Okay.
are you gonna read it?
I've got the statement pulled up. They basically said Phyrexian's agenda to invade the multiverse began a little bit early last weekend, starting with draft boosters of Dominaria Remastered. They go, while terribly on brand for Phyrexia, we also know that it was unexpected for fans. If anyone who purchased it is unsatisfied, they can ask, I don't know, I assume get a refund at customer support here. They never apologized for it, though. They weren't like, we made a mistake and we accidentally put some cards in. They were like, oh, if you were upset about this funny thing that happened, terribly on brand for Phyrexia, they almost make it seem like it was intentional.
I'm gonna let you go because this was your take, but here, let me say your take. They never deny it. That's awesome.
I feel like you just told me to read it and say it.
I said to read this.
Oh,
no,
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It feels, the verbiage in there feels so intentional. And George has given us the in and outs of the corporate speak. They had time to think this up. This verbiage was checked and double checked. Was this intentional? Did they mean to do this?
I think so, if it helps any. That's my gut. I will speculate. That's my gut. And I think it's smart. It adds some interesting stuff to the packs. I think it gets everybody talking. I think it's pretty smart if it was intentional. If not, they should say it was and go with it.
Well, first of all, lean in and be like, it wasn't a mistake. We did it on purpose. But no part in there were, again, they never admitted fault, and they used verbiage like invade the multiverse, right? Which we talk about the universes beyond and how that's going to change with March of the Madness. No, okay.
What if this is the thing that will change the game forever?
That's in March of the Machines, Joe.
Every draft is a chaos pack.
Doesn't matter what the draft box looks like.
Doesn't matter what box you buy. You don't know what cards you're going to get. That changes the game forever.
They
opened and the product.
We found 3 pallets of beta, and we've randomly inserted the cards into collector packs.
I'm in. Every draft is a chaos draft now. Hope you idiots are happy. This is great.
That's great. You guys, awesome. Did you see Rosewater responded to all that comments on the Universes Beyond stuff and said that?
Did he respond to our video or no?
It wasn't directly our video, but he talked about exactly what we were talking about.
Oh my
God!
Which
is what Mark. Everyone was talking about.
Nope.
I assume his aunt told him.
Nope.
I assume his aunt told him about the podcast and what we said.
Don't downplay that. We give the hottest takes here, and if you like what you're doing, click the sub button.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, we were wrong.
Was a
we were wrong in
spicy. That was
Oh, I'm in a t-shirt today,
button,
George.
Boys.
I'm in a t-shirt today, George. You understand?
I have
Josh
never
is off
seen
work.
T-shirt.
It's noon on a Monday. Josh has his
beer, drinking it in his t-shirt.
Listen. I had to plug in my fan. It's a little warm in here. Brews with the bros, dude. We're talking Magic. Let's go.
Your Miller Lite. Anyway, he came out and said that the Phyrexia All We Run will not bring Universes Beyond into the core Magic ecosystem. So that's good. He did say that.
Okay.
But that's not really what we're talking about here. It's just relevant to
the only thing I care less about than lore is PvE. That's it. Those are the 2 things I literally could not care less about in the universe.
Listen, isn't Magic partnering with Smite, the MOBA, the top-down MOBA game, to bring Jace and Magic characters to Smite? I thought I saw it on Twitter.
I didn't see that.
I don't think that's a scoopy. I thought it was on Twitter, but
call it a scoopy. Don't be a fool, Josh. That's not the case. If you're on this podcast, you have to call it a scoopy.
Listen. If you work at Smite, if you're the Smite CEO, if you weren't before, you are now. You're bringing Magic to Smite. Let's do it. No, it made me think maybe Magic IP and lore and stuff is bigger than we give it credit for, because none of us know anything about it.
Well, I think it's weird. The Magic IP and lore, I don't think it's bigger than we give it credit for. But I think Magic the Gathering is certainly a bigger entity than we give it credit for. I saw a post today that was some guy was on CNN. It was some high up in, I think he was a part of the House of
Blues.
House of Blues.
Nobody believes you watch CNN.
Yeah, I was about
to say.
No,
it was a Reddit post. It was a Reddit post.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you were on 4chan
and
they posted about CNN.
Carry on.
it was somebody from the Senate or from the House or something like that, and in the background they had a uncut sheet of antiquities. And they were talking on CNN with an uncut sheet of antiquities in the background. I was just like, how wild is Magic?
How far
that,
is
like,
this game's reach?
yeah, that like some guy, and then the comment section was wild too. They were talking about like this guy comes into our LGS and he plays with commander decks with time twisters in it, and he always has a cameraman with him. It's like a wild thing. Anyway, I think the reach of Magic
for me.
The reach of Magic is certainly bigger than maybe we give it credit for. But anyway, these cards, Phyrexian Invasion, I think it's cool. Listen, if they're gonna do it in a set, it seems like Dominaria Remastered is a great set to do it in. Like if they were gonna do this intentionally, Dominaria Remastered being like the original plane of Magic, and then like Phyrexian's coming in that set, like it kind of fits the theme of both Phyrexia and Dominaria Remastered a little bit. So like I think if they were going to do this, and then additionally, like this is not like a high stakes poker set in terms of the like gameplay side of it. This seems it's a more fun set. It's not going into standard or anything like that. So anyway, I think it's a good set to do it in.
Yeah, I never thought of that angle for it. That was a wild take that feels very spot on.
Yeah,
weird.
Anyway, ready to move on from that?
I was ready.
I could talk Dominaria Remastered for another year. So
let's talk about. Well, that's what we're
moving
sold
on. Well. It sold very well. Like I think if I'm not sold out, I'm pretty darn close. Like it sold very, very well in the store. Yeah. Sold very, very, very well in store.
Yeah. We did a foil Borderless Force of Will bounty. If you pulled in store the foil Borderless Force of Will, then you got a free pre-order of the complete edition of Phyrexia All V1. Nobody hit the bounty, but a lot of people tried, which was great. Lots of
all that matters.
Lots of
way better for you, dude.
That's a victory.
Better for you.
We had a couple boxes, but a lot of like single packs. People just kind of going for the bounty on a $28 pack or whatever.
Sold very well. Yeah, very, very well. Yeah.
Was draft or collectors more of interest for your set for your store?
What do you think?
Usually it's collectors for you.
It's always collectors.
Yeah.
Always.
That's wild.
Nothing else is close. If they got rid of every box but collectors, I think it would take me a few months to notice.
I sold more draft, like by far.
Yeah.
People like opening packs, and like opening 12 packs doesn't take long enough. They're like, I want a better experience.
You know what does? Opening 4 collector booster boxes.
Yeah, I guess. If you got $1,000 to spend on packs, like
more than that.
I mean, draft boxes on TCG Player outsold collector boxes almost 3-1. It was clearly 2-1. It was almost 3-1. So it was pretty. Yeah, people love the draft box of this set, and it's like, oh god, the multiple uses that box is so good. I'm Louis. I expected what you said your experience was. George, yours surprises me a little bit, especially with a store that drafts as much as you guys do.
My store loves collector boxes. Like they draft and they buy collector boxes.
Sponsor of the channel, the gaming company, not sponsor of the channel.
Wait, we already have a sponsor. Shout out to MVP.
Down from their 1,400 boxes last week to 700 boxes this week. So they sold 700 boxes.
We need Charlie Sheen to tell us what to do our next topic on.
And his tiger.
I'm in.
So what I'm hearing from Distro is that this week draft boxes are available in smaller quantities, but I was able to get some draft boxes and I could have gotten more than what I took from Distro. And that's the same
back stuff though.
No, it's from both distros. But both were from the original.
Yeah,
like they had them left over on tickets, or some people didn't end up paying last week, or I bought my boxes on Monday. I paid for my boxes on Monday last week, so this was like throughout the week they had other boxes. Maybe they put them on tickets for me or whatever. But rumor has it that there is another wave coming to distros, or maybe it's a moving of product among distros. My rep told me they're getting more boxes of the collector boxes. Hopefully,
those are two very different things.
Right. When we brought it up, you said that it could be a different coming from a different warehouse.
Right. We don't know which one.
Yeah, he did not.
So
specify
it could be
that
either a restock or not a restock. Stay tuned.
There are more boxes coming that I am aware of. Is the point? for collector boxes, and I think draft boxes. I think we will see this.
I think draft
pretty
boxes
regularly.
They'll get reprinted. My God.
You should. Draft boxes, like
agree.
it's the most recent Magic set on the shelf. Draft boxes should not sell out of this product.
I agree.
Permanently. It's okay. We've had this experience. Actually, MinMax here, local in the Chicagoland, sold out temporarily and then had to go pick up some more, right? So that's fine as long as there's more that are going to be available. But the collector box statement you made is the most dangerous statement we've made on this podcast, because I think that's bad news. Season 2 of this podcast. I left out season 2. You guys have made some more dangerous statements before I got here, I guess.
Do you think that the market can absorb more boxes at the earlier prices?
It depends on this. I think it can absorb more. I don't think it can absorb double. I don't think if we do like a full restock.
They also need to hurry it up, right? The next set's coming out soon. They got if they're gonna restock today.
Yeah.
Like restocking at the same time the next set comes out won't spark a lot of joy in anybody, is my guess.
I can't imagine that's a good move financially for anyone involved. But
like people just won't take it.
So
listen, I'm still seeing box openings and stuff pop up that are getting good views on this. People want this product.
Moving.
Yeah.
So the singles prices, in my opinion, have taken a pretty big downturn.
It's release week.
Yeah, but like in terms of if you were to want to go to your store and buy a $300 box this week, I think the majority of people be like, no, I missed out on the ability to recoup. Now it's buy singles time.
I mean, like
sure, but there's that big statement that George makes that I think is bigger than I realized after looking at all the data on the most recent Magic releases. It's people just like cracking packs.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't thinking of that valuation. I know, Louis, and this is tough for me because I think very similarly to you. I have a case and I'm like, I can't make myself open it because I look at the value and I'm like, I probably am not going to make my money back. But I think a good portion of the community doesn't view it that way. They just open the packs and have a blast.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they do that. I personally think they do that on like a release week. But at this point, if there's anything you're searching for, I think the majority of people will go to the secondary market for singles, which hopefully would increase the value of singles. But that, man, like some of these, like looking at Enlightened Tutor Retro Frame, which was one of like the more expensive rares. It's the most expensive tutor for sure. Sitting at $16 with 155 listings.
Like my understanding is it's always cheaper to buy singles than crack packs for the singles. Like I've always heard this from literally everybody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, like, listen, sure. if you're buying a box to crack, it's because you want to crack the packs, right? It's not because you're like, oh, let's see if I can get this one card I want in the one frame I want and then flip the singles. Like that's not a thing.
Yeah.
Like it's fun.
Maybe it's a thing for stores, right? But for the
other side of not me. Only Infinity.
Well, this is where stores who did not sell out on Friday, if they didn't, they're not going to look at this in open packs. Like you're not going to. I know a guy who opened 2 draft boxes and got $140 out of value out of his 2 draft boxes.
Sure.
Like a store is just going to list the boxes. Yeah, completely.
You could be honest with us. Was that guy looking at you in the mirror this morning?
No, I didn't open any. I did not open any draft boxes.
I was just asking.
Proud of you, dude.
I opened a collector box in store just because we were all having fun waiting for.
You wanted to crack packs.
Yeah. I mean, there's a big difference though. Like,
there's a difference though because the price he's getting it at.
Yeah,
right.
There's a difference between the price I'm getting it at and the market price, and then there's a difference between like a store owner opening packs in order to be like, hey guys, watch what you can pull here, and it's really fun, and like.
Do you do that? Is that why you open packs? So you can
like everyone's sitting around waiting for the next round. It's something to do.
This is Louis wanted to open the packs.
Exactly.
He's just like, this is a reason why I can open the packs.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, you got to feed that cardboard addiction, dude. I do it too.
If I was a consumer, I would not be opening anything right now. If I was like the prices of there's just too much listed. Like the prices of the tutors. Even the prices of like Force of Will, like
people open because they enjoy it, though.
I guess so.
Why else would they be buying boxes?
Yeah,
Wow. What do you open? Is that a core set 2015 pack? What set is it?
It's Kaldheim, baby. I had a Kaldheim set booster.
It was
on my
white. I was like, where did you get a
man? Ooh, dual strike. Listen, this is why people do this, man. I'm not
That's why
getting
they
my
should
money
not do
back
it.
out of this. I'm not getting my money back out of this. It was fun. It was fun. I like this. I like opening packs. It's a good time.
I think more people are going to start buying singles and opening packs, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. I think we see an erosion of box prices over this week. It'll be interesting next week to look at the podcast and see where boxes are. Again, like I think we see draft boxes in like the 165s and
collector I think you could see it quicker than that. Sorry, go ahead.
Collector boxes down to like the 270, 275.
That would surprise me. That's a big drop.
Maybe not by next week, but like if you look at like Double Masters, like it went up on release a little bit, and then it like has just
it had a big restock. Like I'm assuming it's a big restock. If there's a big restock, then all bets are off.
I think, and that's I've made a couple. If there's a big restock, that's my caveat. Yeah,
if there's a big restock, prices will go down as you increase supply. The price goes down. Like,
but like
that's what I'm saying is going to happen.
I have no idea.
That's a big miss on a set like this where you have all this community hype. If you do a major restock, I think that's a big miss. I'm okay. Small restocks and always keeping the draft box in stock is fine with me, but a big restock on collector boxes I think is a miss. I understand they're a business. They gotta get that dollar bill, y'all, but
$1 billion company, baby.
Shout out to the Magic the Gathering store on Amazon selling boxes for $315 right now. Got to get their money. Got to keep the value high so that they can sell their boxes higher on Amazon.
As somebody who has both Hasbro stock and Amazon stock, I say, good job, Mark. Keep it up, buddy.
Speaking of Hasbro, let's move on to D&D.
You're so close to a smooth transition.
Why?
Speaking of Hasbro, our next topic on the podcast will be...
That's a great transition.
You're doing great. I love you.
I did a great job transitioning that. So last week we talked about the OGL for Hasbro and the...
Hold on. Correction. We talked about the leaked proposed rules to the OGL, which for the role-playing game owned by Hasbro's. Continue.
Yes. Which was now known to be something that they claimed was on purpose of putting out there to see community reaction. They came out with an update 3 a couple days ago. Basically saying there's 2 driving principles. Our job is to be good stewards of the game, and the OGL exists for the benefit of the fans. I can't even talk about this. You guys need to take this. This is like I'm vomiting in my mouth trying to talk about this right now. It's like the most disgusting article I've ever read.
The first thing, the place I want to start is the move to say, no, wasn't leaked. We put it out there to see how you'd feel about it, is the most like, no, I'm not, or so are you, blah, 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 3rd grade ridiculous playground argument that I've ever heard in my life. Like, that's the worst way ever to walk that back. I couldn't believe that's the route they took with it.
Second, you're going to hear people say that they won and we lost because making your voices heard forced us to change our plan. Those people were only half right. They won and so did we.
And if you can listen to that without hearing, I'm rubber and you're glue, whatever you say to me, like that's,
Chris Cox probably wrote it in the bathroom of his cocktail parties. He's probably just like, hammering it out.
I think that lady that never heard of D&D probably wrote it.
The Wikipedia article lady.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons is a role-playing game for 1 or 8 to 8 players. It's
George, you're fuming. Tell us why this is great.
No, first of all, Chris Cox is not on the podcast. I want to be nice to him. I think this was an obvious miss from WotC, from Hasbro. Like we talked about last week, how it was a miss from Hasbro. They have a problem. This is like the wrong solution. Well, walking it back is the right solution, but they proposed the wrong solution, like we talked about last week. But listen, what the Dungeons and Dragons community doesn't want to hear is the problem still exists now. They've still created a lot of value that other people are collecting, and that will create this kind of friction that they're talking about. This is not the end. This is a comma in the story, not a period. They did the right thing by walking it back. The corporate speak was a little much, I would agree. But like the problem persists, and I don't know a good solution. It doesn't sound like anybody does, to be honest.
Can I ask you something? What you do right now is you are a man of business. You're not a businessman. You're a businessman. Is there something? Yeah, thank you. Is there something to be said where I saw a tweet talking about these big companies need to learn to leave a little meat on the bone so other people can make money because in doing so they also promote the main thing, the bigger company. Is there something to that there?
Yeah. So my like area of like academic study, if you will, is actually F.A. Hayek, who talks about like decentralization, which actually fits into Dungeons and Dragons quite nicely. And like one of the core principles of decentralization is that like overall profits seem to decrease in decentralized industries, but user adoption increases. So think of like music as like the most famous example. When I had to go to Radio Shack and buy a CD, less people got to listen to my music. But now that it's on 18,000 streaming platforms, everybody gets to listen to my music. But there was more money to be made when I was just buying CDs per use. That makes sense to everybody?
Yes.
So like what Dungeons and Dragons has the problem of is that they've created an open system, which means that like profits will decrease, but user adoption will increase. And like if I were working for Hasbro, I would frankly kind of suck this up. I think you can say, I'm not going to collect as much value as I think I deserve on Dungeons and Dragons. I have to leave more for others in an open system. But that makes the overall pie so much bigger, I can start to attack other ways to get profit out of the game. We used the example last week of like having having the Dungeon Master Shield, doing more books, having more stuff.
Actually investing in the movie and
like
good and like IP.
You can do more things and produce more goods in an open system because users interact with it more.
Right.
So if I were Hasbro, I would like take my licks today, go back and rethink about like I need to look at this fundamentally differently. I won't get the justice I think I deserve in collecting all those profits, but I have other ways to get my money.
So I had a thought this week, which was that does Hasbro just need to accept the fact that D&D is not that? Like what Hasbro bought from Wizards of the Coast when they bought Wizards of the Coast, and what Wizards of the Coast bought from I don't remember the guys from
Gary Gygax.
The whole
was
thing.
The creator of D&D, yeah.
What they all created and bought was an open license. Like they knew what they were getting themselves into. Like, are they trying to create something out of something that's just not there? Like that's kind of
what I was just saying. I mean, like what they think is fair, and like I don't, there's a whole debate about whether or not that is fair. Is that like I created this thing, I should get X% of profit from that thing, no matter if I create the end product or not, right? I created Dungeons and Dragons rulebook. If you create a supplement guide, I should get a cut because I'm the one that built the foundation. That's just not the way the world works right now. And I don't think we're going back to that, to be candid. That's not a thing. Magic the Gathering doesn't deserve a cut of every playmat that gets sold that I played Magic the Gathering on. That's not a thing. So like they're yearning for a world that I don't believe exists anymore. And I think that's what they ran against.
Yeah. That's fair. There's been a lot of conversation coming out of WotC, basically of staff members not feeling like they can even share like opinions. Basically, like if they share opinions, they're going to get fired. Right. And it seems like there's a huge shift from like Wizards of the Coast employees to Hasbro and the handling at the higher ups, which is a really interesting thing to watch from the outside because like, man, like they're starting to get big public conversation about this. Like, this is not just in our community that we were, Josh and I were talking about. Who's that streamer that we saw talking about this?
Oh, the Asmongold.
Asmongold. Yeah, there's like
shout out to Asmongold. Definitely watches the podcast.
Yeah, huge fan.
Big
Asmongold's
fan.
going to be
in your channel.
He's
I've heard of
taken
you.
He's taken the Logan Paul spot next week. We had to get rid of Logan Paul.
Logan Paul out. Asmongold in.
I know Logan Paul was so excited to be on our show, but unfortunately, he's not welcome back anymore. And you know, Asmongold's taking the spot anyway. But Magic and D&D and Hasbro getting all this interaction from these bigger name streamers and big name YouTubers, and like, man, it's just like, what's that gonna do to the overall brand? That's a scary thought.
So the one school of thought there is like the no press is bad press, but I don't necessarily subscribe to that. But you said something that was interesting to me that I think means a lot more to people on our side of the community, like regular enthusiasts, right? You were talking about how these employees feel like they can't share these thoughts because as those thoughts move up the chain, they're afraid of repercussions for those. And what you see there is common. The farther you get away from the metal, right? The people who actually work on D&D and create these scenarios and work on the different versions have this passion for it. It's not just their 9 to 5. They live that, they breathe that. And us as community members, when they say something publicly, are going to lean more towards them because we share that feeling towards that entity. But as you move up the chain, it becomes you're farther distanced from the entity, right? So when you see it as just a way to make money, you see it as, so when you speak to the masses, it's not going to land as hard. And I wonder if that's going to be actually a bigger rift. You saw this with Blizzard, right? And not the toxic workplace aside. I'm talking about the actual game systems. The farther you got away from the designers, creators, and players of those game systems, the more pushback you got from the community because it felt cold. And that seems like what we're approaching with Hasbro here.
We saw it with EA too. With EA Sports.
That's
remember?
a great example. 100%. Yeah.
And I mean, it was just a big deal that a lot of people walked away from EA Sports games. I haven't followed that since then. I used to play the hockey games. I used to buy the new hockey game every year. But yeah, dude, hockey is fun. Hockey's fun just in general. It's great. You get to actually score goals, unlike soccer, which just ends in a tie the whole time. But anyway, another thing that happened was Piazzo launched.
Wow, that was a flop. Nobody responded to that. That was a flop. Wow.
Over at Hometown TCG, I like my international audience. I'm going to keep it that way.
I hate soccer so much.
And Canadians are just Americans anyway. So like, you're America light.
That's true.
You're like America light.
Canadians are just like Americans, but worse at hockey. That's about it.
Wow, Canadians hate both of us now. I did not see this coming.
Another response to this was Piazzo, which owns Pathfinder. I couldn't find it. Pathfinder came out with basically saying that they were going to do their own OGL, and they were basically like, hey, Hasbro's taking too long to respond, so here's our plan. And I thought that was really cool. Like, they're just like going after it, and that's a company that the community will and has gotten behind. So it's just gonna be interesting to watch this from a different dynamic. But
you deserve a shout out here. You sir, go ahead, smile your shiny face at the camera for those viewers not listening on the podcast. You told me about a video I should make that is coming out on the channel this week, talking about how when the D&D announcement happened and there was kind of this kerfuffle, Piazzo jumped at that and then made the right decision, said, I'm going to give the people what they want. But we saw when Magic the Gathering had 30th anniversary edition drop and it was going through a rough patch, very few, if any, TCG designers jumped at the opportunity, the weakness in the monster above, and kind of maybe pulled from the player base. And you told me that was a good video topic, so you get the credit. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, man. Get all the credit and all the blame. That's what I do. None of the blame. I'll take the credit and none of the blame.
I was about to say, wait.
But like, I mean, it's fair. Like, we don't see that. We don't see these games really coming after it in that way. I agree.
Yeah,
it's
weird.
Like, I don't know the size of Pathfinder to D&D, but like the only game that could like have done anything of any import to Magic, it's probably like Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe Weiss.
Maybe they wouldn't have damaged Magic, but they
Like-
could have bolstered themselves.
I agree. Like, I think you're right. They should have. But I
Yeah,
mean, like, if it's like, if
It's definitely-
Polywog is like, I'm going to come out with a new box to shun wizards, I'm not sure who really cares.
I think like it's different. It is different. Like Piazzo is a bigger realm.
Yeah.
There's only 2 competitors in that world, and there's a lot of different
Sure.
TCGs competing. But it
100%.
still holds true that like it was.
I completely agree that they should have done that. All these TCGs should have done something.
It was
You should
communities.
have made some decision to pull a non-zero number of
100%.
players.
I'm
with
in
you
the
completely.
community.
We were talking about this in text too. Like everyone's moved on from Magic 30. Like
Yeah, of
the
course.
conversations
Somebody
moved on.
predicted this. I gotta find that guy.
Oh my gosh, that's my video today of the recording of this podcast.
I gotta
You
find
guys are
that
great
guy.
at this. You guys
God,
are
I gotta
great at
figure out
this.
who that was.
Like,
I remember just
everyone's-
thinking that guy is sexy, and he knows it.
Makes one person thinking that.
Louis, you're so good at this today, man. You're on fire.
But like, listen, like nobody's talking about that anymore. And I think like part of that is the people who were upset are probably gone. But like the thing that Magic had, there's
Some are gone, sure. I don't think everyone that was upset by
What
Magic
percent
30
do
is
you
gone.
think left because of that?
It was probably a bigger percent than a lot of other things that people complain about, but I don't think it was I don't know if it was substantial.
I think the thing with Magic is there is a big exit to Magic. There is a big back door to the Magic house. But the front door is also huge. Like as people go, more people come in. And so like there's a constant flow of people getting involved and leaving the hobby. So anyway.
This is a Mark Rosewater's joke.
All right, moving on. The Cryptic charity stream. All right, so this is super cool. So Cryptic's a new, if you're not familiar with Cryptic's a new TCG. Really awesome. They just had their what?
The hell are you pointing at?
Cryptic right here. Up in my background. Are you watching my camera?
I
You
can't
just
see
can't-
that if you hold a gun to my head. What are you doing? Like, here's some random cards
to point at.
Yeah.
All right, this is
We gotta
Cryptic
change
up here
that.
to you guys.
Anyway, really great. They kind of brand themselves as a community driven TCG, which is really cool. They're really trying to be I don't want to say they're trying to replace Magic or do anything like that. They're trying to.
They will by Q1 though. Continue, Louis.
No, they're trying to just grow in the indie scene, and it's really cool. They did an awesome charity auction. So Tanner worked for the fire department. I don't remember the exact name of the charity, but it's for burn victims.
Something
For burn victims, and they auctioned off on Whatnot the developmental changes of their cards. So they had 200 slabs, and they auctioned off 50 of them. They had 200, and they auctioned off 500. No, they had 200 of them. They auctioned off 50 of them, and any amount over $99 went to the burn victims.
charity.
They raised over $9,000.
That's
Over $9,000.
wild. It's awesome.
And really cool. And I think like that's super cool. But for me, like I was part of the stream. I got 2 of the cards. For me, it was really cool to see like the community, like everyone was there. They were tagging, like
So,
there would be.
Before we go any further, I want to let you know that I'm proud of you. I thought for sure you could end with I bought 35.
Yeah, I am also
the
proud
way
of you.
I have a third mortgage on my house,
Well,
and the store is closing.
I bid pretty high on the Rosa and the Brassman's will, but it was me and Chumley were bidding.
Oh,
against
you ain't
each
gonna win
other.
that one, boss.
yeah, you got
You ain't gonna
deeper
win that one,
pockets,
boss.
bro.
Chumley from
remember-
Pawn Stars.
Remember the early MetaZoo days? It was me against Ninja's girlfriend, or Ninja's wife, or Ninja's other for
I
a
think
couple
it's
of
his
the.
wife. I think it's his wife. Yeah.
For a couple, well, I have no idea if he's married. For a couple of the sample cards. Spoiler: I got riggedy wrecked.
Yeah.
like-
yeah.
like, I
We
guess,
don't
like,
get
it
to
was
play
like,
in those arenas.
Yeah,
Anyway,
wrecked.
so it was really cool. It's just to see the community. Like one of the things I thought was super cool is the community is so tight knit. When a card would come up, they would tag somebody who really liked that citizen, and so like to be like, hey, your card's up there, and it was just cool to like have that knowledge within the community that they care. The community is just really tight knit, and that was a really cool way to see it.
It feels like a community. It's in that phase where it's like a lot of people's names. You run in very similar circles. It feels like a lot of early indie TCG communities, but it's got that spark. It's got that special feeling.
so far, and we've certainly seen things change as TCGs get bigger, but like it's a very good and healthy community full of like people genuinely seem to like each other largely. Like all the discords are like, I haven't seen anything really, I'd say, super, like, they're like, you'll get some disagreement, but they are all like, they're all like nice about it, right? It's like, I don't agree with you. They're not like, Mark Rosewater's aunt is fat. Like, it's like, they keep it nice and above board. So like they do a really good job about that in all the discords, including the secondary discords.
I thought this was a really great way to build community too. And I think like that's the type of thing that Tanner's just good at. Like, this is something that everybody can get behind. It's a really cool product too. Like, this is like,
it's a cool thing to, it's a really cool thing to own.
Yeah. If you're a fan of the game, it's a really cool thing to own. And then that conversation of like, oh, who got that one? Oh, that's so cool. Like, maybe like people were tracking who got what. And it's just like a cool, it's a cool thing.
Yeah. Like even the discourse, people like were congratulating one another if they beat them out on a bid. Like it was, I mean, like people ask me like why I'm optimistic about Cryptic. And I think it is the community. You don't like, and Tanner knows this, it takes a few rotten apples, but like so far the rotten apples have stayed out and we hope that continues. Like the community is really good and strong. People are liking to play the game. Like, listen, this all comes back to one thing. Do people like playing the game?
So I talked
the answer is like, yes.
I talked to my rep today because I've been selling some of the Wave 2 boxes. And so I wanted to make sure I've been selling them on my website. People have been buying them. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't get allocated. I was like, do you think this is going to get allocated? He was like, well, you should be good at your number. I was like, well, let's add some more. And then I said, how many stores are ordering it? And he said, well, just in my office, 65 stores already have pre-orders.
Just that rep probably then.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I thought that was that's a pretty good number.
Way of people, bigger number than I thought it was going to be.
I think Wave 2 is going to sell out fast.
Yeah.
I'm actually like in a way that makes me have a little bit of heartburn.
Yeah.
Can I take a moment and roast? We get roasted every week. Can I roast a commenter that claimed we didn't need Cryptic Wave 2? That was wild. Wild. What a wild comment.
Well, listen, I know that guy. I think he has good. His point was that he has tried selling some of the, like a set of cards. And like the non-hollows, like, I won't lie, I've got singles on my website. The hollows are selling way, way more than the non-hollows.
Shocking. Like every other TCG.
Yeah. The vast majority of people who are playing Cryptic have opened a box. And once you open a box, you pretty much have all the non-hollow cards you need. You might need to pick up one or two for a deck or whatever, but you pretty much, and then especially if you and your friend open up two boxes, you've got everything you need to trade for in the non-hollow perspective. And so I can see where from the outside that could be the issue with Wave 2 isn't singles prices or box prices. It's store.
The game store. It's those 65 stores. Yeah.
Those 65 stores who then will teach
that rep. I mean, like, I think my gut is they'll be in 400 to 500 stores with Wave 2, maybe.
That would make sense.
That'd be sweet.
I think it's going to be about that. I mean, listen, like, I think a lot of stores would take a shot at it.
And if you say half of those stores are able to get a small community going of,
now you're moving boxes,
8 to 10 players. I mean, that's a lot of players.
Yeah. Now you're moving boxes.
So yeah, really cool stuff.
Cryptic is doing what Cryptic needs to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think like for all these new TCGs, like that is like the big test. Like, the days of like this rapid rise and this sudden collapse are over. It's like, are you doing what you need to do? Are you doing what you told your backers you were going to do at the time you said you were going to do it? And like Cryptic so far has delivered.
Yeah. I think if you see it comes out and then you see like 10 to 15% growth of player numbers.
That's right.
Like, every 3 or 4 months. Like, I think that would be super, super healthy.
Yep, that's wonderful.
And I think Tanner's smart enough to not overprint for that number too. Like, that's definitely a thing that's like smart, is not overprinting for that number, but then also keeping boxes in the realm for players. So
yeah,
good stuff.
Big win.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really stoked. I've been going after Chromac, which is like the king. He's like in this big chair and his card looks sweet. And then Osiris gets no love. Osiris gets no love. And so I got both of those. Pretty stoked about it. So anyway, our events on March 4th in Hurricane, West Virginia. Hurricane is how it's spelled, but it's pronounced Hurricane if you're in Hurricane, West Virginia. That's how people say it. So come play. All right, we've got Sorcery. A big update from Sorcery. They came out and they've got cards are 1,000% printed, 370,000 sheets.
Cards are 1,000% printed.
Sorry, 100%. Did I say 1,000?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Anything over 100% is the same.
I didn't know if that was like an extra vote of confidence or what that meant. I was just trying to follow along.
100% printed.
Sure. Okay.
370,000 sheets. Packaging materials 100% printed. Cards are 96% cut, and booster packs assembled and sealed 13%. So they've got a lot of progress there. There's a cool video on playing. We talk about this, but a lot of progress with that. And then Chinese New Year has started, I believe, or is starting this week. And they so it's gonna be like 2 weeks of no updates from production now. But they're pretty confident that it'll go out pretty soon, right after Chinese New Year is when it's gonna get out. So cards look pretty cool. And then so anything you guys want to talk about that, or we're just sharing that information?
Well, I think we talked about this beforehand when we were talking about the printing situation and the timeline with Sorcery. We said, okay, it is going to butt up against Chinese New Year. So it's nice to see that a lot of this work was accomplished before we hit that. And again, I'm not cultured. I don't know anything about when Chinese New Year falls and when it ends. So that's a gap, I guess, in my knowledge. But I think it's important to note that they did get through that. We were able to see is the video you're playing the hype video with the one pack open coming off the assembly line that we talked about?
It's a different video, but I think the same pack
video?
opened in the back end of it.
Okay, that's a cool video. That's a cool idea. So it's nice to see. And from what I've seen, the couple screen grabs I've seen, the cards look really nice. And I know that's something we were like, okay, it's up in the air. How's it going to look? They do look really nice. I don't have one in my hand yet, so I can't tell, but it looks really nice. And this is nice. It's nice progress. It's doing what we want other games to do too. We're seeing progress. We're getting updates. We're getting constant alerts. That's cool. Yeah.
And this did come out on Kickstarter, which has been something we've said a couple times, that their kind of announcements need to be there, not just in the Discord server. So that's been good.
So the announcement came out on Kickstarter, correct?
Mm-hmm. And then they also posted the link to the Kickstarter update in the Discord.
Okay. And then there's also, and I don't know if this is something we aren't talking about today, but there's also the supplemental
so
that's coming. The 10 cards.
So 10 cards from that artist. So this is like where we don't know very much about the set. We don't know dates. We don't know a whole lot.
Speculate, baby.
So we can speculate. So they came out and had an announcement on the Discord and a post and something like that. I don't know. It was kind of weird the way they got it out there. But anyway, it got out there. Ed Beard Jr., which I assume is a artist that a lot of people like because they were hyping it up, is doing 10 cards for a new set that's a like a small set, a mini set, I think they called it.
It's a mini release, was it?
They did not say that it's only his 10 cards in the release. They have not given us any other information about the release. But Ed Beard Jr. is doing a Patreon thing where you can actually watch all 10 pieces of artwork from sketch to finished product if you're a patron of his, and they were sharing that. So yeah, kind of interesting. I kind of get the feeling that this mini set's not going to come out until after Arthurian Legends, which is the next set that's slated to come out. That's kind of the conversation I get. I think I saw somewhere, I don't remember exactly where Eric was like, very little of this is being shared so far, just these 10 pieces, just the stuff. So it's cool. It's definitely gotten a lot of interest in the community. It created a lot of conversation about that second set. Like that's the mini set being like, hey, people were asking for more products coming, more different things. Like I would like to see more about it, but hopefully that information is coming.
And that leans into my biggest concern that I personally, not speaking for either of you two bozos, but I had for Sorcery was like the one set a year felt like it felt not enough from the other side of the counter, and then I assume from your guys you want more product, and maybe if it's hold on, maybe if it's this set and then a mini release here or there or whatever it might be, it breaks up the monotony of like we have to live with this set for a year. It's something to look forward to. And you corrected me. I thought this was a re-art of cards already in existence. It was this artist's take on the cards. I took it like a secret layer. It's not. It's its own. They're functionally unique game pieces kind of being released this way. So it's going to be interesting to see how that comes out.
I don't think we know any of that for sure. I think that,
but I don't have to know it for sure to say it on this podcast.
It was not said that these are either of that. It wasn't said that they were functional reprints. It wasn't said that they were new cards. I would assume I would assume they are new cards.
They're big challenges for each. If they're functionally unique, they have to be play tested and jive with everything that's already been released and will be released. And if they're not functionally unique, it kind of begs the question, like, are we actually breaking up the monotony? Is this game all about kind of the look, the feel, the great art on these really cool looking cards? So there's a lot of questions to be answered there. That's an interesting product to me. I'm really interested to see how that shakes out.
Yeah. Any takes, George, on that?
No, are you going to cover the spoiler from the next set or no?
I am. That's what's next. Yeah. Is that what you're saving?
No, just want to make sure. No, go ahead.
Yeah.
So then we also spoilers for the upcoming sets.
Yeah, we also got I don't know exactly where this came out, maybe in a video with Collector Art House. I think maybe that's where the origin of this was. But this is the border.
Shout out to sourcing.
Border for the Arthurian Legends, which is the next set. So you have Alpha, Beta, and then Arthurian Legends, which comes out after that. And this is the border, the chase border of this, which is crazy. The gold gilting on this is supposedly going to be like in a cold foil-esque is the conversation that they had, which would be pretty cool. It'd be an absolutely beautiful card, but pretty cool. I'm not like a huge Arthurian Legends like fan. Like that's not my, like the Knights of the Round Table, that kind of world never did
that misses me too. Yeah.
But it's cool. The artwork looks cool, and I like the border.
Can I give probably a cold take? Are you showing this on the screen right now?
Yeah,
because I have it here myself. Some of this artwork feels like this card specifically, and I've seen it with other TCGs releasing product coming out. It feels too busy. I like simplicity. It feels the border and all the crazy stuff going on feels too busy.
So this is not the normal border.
No, I know.
It's like the special chase.
Yeah, I know. I'm well aware, and it just feels too busy. It feels like too much. I'm not a fan. I like simplicity. I like elegant, simple, just small design, and this is beautiful. It is like the amount of work this took looks just insane. Something I can't possibly understand, but it's not my art style.
I wonder if you would disagree, if you would have a counterpoint to that. If you held the card and you're holding it and it's shiny and gold and like, I wonder if your attitude would change on that. Because like I agree with you from this standpoint, but like I feel like I can envision it on a card in that like shiny gold.
And I'm incapable of doing so. No, okay.
No, I'm just
gotcha. No, some of my favorite Magic cards of all time are the full art cards with no text. It's just like the art. There's not a ton going on. It's got the small. Do you remember the FNM promos with the small like border in there and it's full art, like no text? That to me is just, it's elegant, it's simple, it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on. It just feels like, and this is not about this card, this is about my art style. I just like super simple.
That's fair. George, do you have a take on this this release? Okay, gotcha. Good. Thank you for your contributions.
All the spoilers look great for the next two sets coming out.
This has been like the last week where we thought the Boston Mob got George and we didn't hear from him.
Yeah.
We thought, All
right, let's finish up the podcast with the MetaZoo Minute, talking about fusion auras in the set.
Just call them what they are. Just
dual lands.
Thank you.
So MetaZoo announced that there will be fusion auras in native that are all going to be connected to. This is a cool way. I thought this was a cool way to do it. If you're going to do something like this, This is a pretty cool way to do it. So they're all connected to Earth. So because native is about the Earth and about that kind of thing, all these are going to be connected to the Earth. So you're going to have like lightning and Earth and fire and Earth and I think like water and Earth and whatever. And what?
I'm with you so far. I just love the different variations. I want you to keep going, but continue.
Yeah. And then they were
Earth,
said
Rose,
to
Water, and
be,
Earth.
they are said to be as rare as the prism / possession aura, which are, I think, like one every 6 boxes.
I thought it was a little more frequent than that, but I could be
Maybe-
wrong.
maybe
It was like one every
4
like
to-
2 or 3.
It's definitely not every 2 or 3.
I thought it was like 2 per case. No.
That would be one every 3. I think it was like 4 to 5. Anyway, but pretty rare. Definitely not easy to get. And then we see that he came out and said that native's Earth themed, so we're going to see Earth and then all the fusions. So War won't have any. SCP won't either. I don't remember what SCP is. But the 7 Seas set, which is water themed, will have water, and then the fusions are connected to water. So
I like that.
yeah, I think it's cool that it's connected to the sets in that way.
I like the different kinds. I like the different types of auras. I think that's smart. Like I think, like, listen, more land, more better.
Yeah.
Are these one per deck?
I don't think so.
No. 2 per spell book.
Yeah.
2 per deck. So.
They look good. Love the art around it.
Yeah, they do.
They look good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I've never seen a lightning bolt hit a rock like that, but I get it.
Versus all the times you've seen Mothman, and it's like, damn.
I was
I'm
about
like,
to say,
looking at
are we
him
going
in
to
person.
evaluate the realism of TCG art now? Because that's not a route we want to go down.
I'm not sure on the scientific method on it, but like the artwork looks cool. In foil or hollow or whatever, they're gonna look really cool.
I wonder what the special foil will be for native.
I don't know.
They always do a special foil.
And these are one for every 2 boxes, was it?
We
Average,
don't know.
Roughly average.
One between 1 per half case and 1 per case.
Okay,
that's fine. It's 25,000
it's
boxes. No, 50,000 boxes.
No, you can't tell me you have the biggest organized play circuit and try to get me to quit my job to
That's
play.
not what he said.
This
That's
organized
That's not
play.
at all what he said.
Sorry, you're right. He didn't say he had the
Biggest
biggest organized
money.
play circuit. He did put a bunch of money into organized play, and now the card that comes 1 per half case is
I
2
don't
per
think
deck.
these will be prohibitively expensive.
Well, I don't think.
I don't think they will be hundreds of dollars.
You're
per
just
card,
telling
is
me
my
2
gut.
different stories. I want the chase to be something that isn't necessarily required to play a given deck. And it feels like if this truly is a dual land and you're playing at the top level and it's available, this is required to play. Like,
I agree. They could
just
reprint
is.
more dual lands.
So
I
It's
agree
not
with you, Josh.
required, though.
I agree with
then
you, Josh.
you're right.
People
Is the
should be
tournament
more
format
okay with printing more dual lands.
Is
I'm
the
with you
tournament
100%.
format something where they're not allowed to play dual lands? Because I think that changes the equation.
So a
Oh,
wilderness,
it's not? Oh, okay.
a wilderness prism aura is $70.
Yeah,
So
I mean, like that's
what
what
you
I
can,
think it'll end at.
that's what
Maybe
you
even
can
less.
expect these to get to. I will say I think some of the cards for player there's been a lot of people looking for Loveland Mailmans, which is
Like, hold on. I agree with completely. Like promos being playable, doesn't feel great. Like I think Mike knows that. I think like they haven't done that in a while. I don't think. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So like they're learning. Like they're like like something. All these games are newish. Like that doesn't bother me. That bothers me. I hope they make that card illegal eventually. But like, he stopped doing that, and that's good. And he deserves credit for stop doing that. I don't think this card will be prohibitively expensive. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be $50 a card is my gut.
I think you can take a look at Prism War. Yeah, I mean, I guess Prism War can be in any deck, right?
Yeah, that's why I think it'll go down. I think it'll be a little bit less.
Yeah,
Than I think it'll be like $50.
It should be a little cheaper if it can be played at anything.
And that's, I mean, that's expensive. That's on the high end of okay to me.
It's interesting for sure.
I think
Native
it looks good.
I think it's
Native looks
weird
really
because
good.
you definitely still need those cards that are chase cards. Like you still want those like that sell boxes for storage and make it the ecosystem work.
Right.
So like there's definitely a line.
It's a delicate balance. It's always been in a weird spot when that is like Magic's the same way. When that chase card has been, and the only version of it is a land that feels required to play, like part of the resource system. That's always been a weird spot. And I've had this criticism of other TCGs. I don't like that there's not another version of these cards that you can come across and play the game. Now, it shouldn't be free, right? It's okay to spend money on your deck. It's okay, but I would like there maybe to be two versions of this, or up the pull rate and make it a $20 card versus a $50 card.
I agree with that. I mean, like we'll see what it comes out at. I'm not overly worried about it. Mainly because like Mike does like to have like the big events are a little bit smaller than other games. So like I think like I suspect there'll be some cap on the championship.
Yeah.
So like
oh, it's going to be capped. Oh no, open that bad boy up. Let everyone in. Battle to the death. Let's go.
Last time I think they capped it at 500. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
I remember.
So like there'll be some cap, I suspect. I think this is great. I think people wanted dual lands, now they got them, and that's great.
Yeah,
and they look good. What else do you want?
Okay, higher pull rate.
Native looks good too. Native looks good.
He wants a higher pull rate. He said what he wants.
He wants to reprint dual lands in certain games than others. I've heard this. Continue.
When they're required to play, 100%.
Oh, you two, you're so cute when you're mad at each other. Do you guys want to finish up? You guys want to finish up and talk about Crown Zenith for a second? That comes out this week. No?
Are you kidding me? We're going to not end in the MetaZoo minute?
Oh, I mean, it's fine.
Are you kidding me right now?
We can just...
You know what, George? This guy's ridiculous. Why don't you and I leave this podcast? Let's go get lunch right now.
Let's go. Let's go. Get some deep dish pizza.
Crown Zenith looks hot. That's all I'm saying. It looks hot.
Then you could have added it as a topic.
I forgot about it. It looks
You got to edit this now. You got to make that in the middle now.
Nope. That's it. That's how we're ending the podcast. May the Crown Zenith be with you guys.
Remember the Eye of Sauron looks at you with shame.
Thank you guys so much for watching the podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, join us on. Go subscribe to Josh's channel. Go visit George in person in store. And if you're looking for
go check out both the Bone Zone on Scheming Skeleton and Mean Bucking Games.
Nope. We already did this. We're already pinning some comment from.
We pinned.
From who?
I'm gonna start the intro to every week's podcast with you pinning. Oh, and Louis will pin my latest video in the comments below every single week.
All right.
I'm in.
That being said, remember to be kind to the people around you. And may the zoo be with you.
And also with you.